meeting Mariah and Jessa was just a pivotal moment in my journey. I got to witness their power and grace and the way they ushered teachers through guided inquiry that opened profound pathways in the teachers' hearts and minds, and ultimately did the same for their students. I'm reminded of Octavia Butler's refrain in Earthseed, the Book of the Living: all that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only living truth is change. God is change. Every person Mariah and Jessa have touched, they've changed. And I'm blessed to be among those people. So,
Bay Area educators, who are some of the most revolutionary liberatory educators on the planet, as far as I can tell. So thank you for being here and being that. Should we start to read something from the book? All right. So Mariah and I started this about 2 years ago. We sent off a cold letter to our top publisher choice, Routledge, and it got accepted. That's what happened. And then we went, oh shit, we haven't looked at it. So we spent our pandemic days and beyond writing a book together. Sharing Mind Meld with this amazing human has been a real honor and feat and depth. If any of you all have collaborated in depth with one other person, the language in this book, we have our own stories in here, but the rest of the language is our shared language. So we would do things like spend a month choosing a particular word sometimes and having, racialized conversations between my positionality and her positionality around what that word meant to who and how and what. And so it was deep, good, beautiful process, and I'm just really happy it's now here.
Lesson design. Our answer yet again is through love and art. Asking ourselves if our lessons love our students is also asking whether our lessons increase or decrease liberation in the short and long term. What if the practice of freedom was a daily practice in the classroom? As educators who have taught with a belief system grounded in social justice, our own meaning of liberatory education is activated through the building of a critical and creative mind. Liberatory pedagogy is not a set of instructions, but rather an embodied stance or orientation woven throughout our teaching methods. Liberation requires the ability to trust in our students enough to create a container they eventually can and should outgrow. By intentionally applying creativity to the lessons we create, our lessons will not only remove obstacles to joy for our students, but for ourselves. If there is no joy in the teaching, there will be no joy in the learning. Liberatory lessons will not only love our students, but love us too.
White supremacy, inequity, etc. But I'm grateful that we're able to have these conversations when usually I would have those conversations with people who look like me, but never in a white setting. And now we're able to do that, and with our students, talk about it with them and let them know that we see them. And it's just made a big difference. So thank you, Jessa and Mariah.
But I will say that at least in many of our schools, we are still working on some of these concepts that I think for many of us, it's just part of how we've always taught or thought, but it's always ongoing as well. So what's been cool with Jessa and Mariah's work is we're now on our second draft read of their curriculum for teachers. And a lot of times the first year it was like deer in headlights, like what are we talking about right now? And in this second draft, you can really see the depth coming out. And I think that's what's really exciting about the book now, as you can read it as many times as you need. And
we all sat in a circle, and it was like kind of our first time all being together as a staff. And one of the questions was like, what kind of artist are you? And it wasn't like, the question was not like, do you do art? it was like there was an expectation that everybody does art and we are all artists, and what kind of artist are you? And some people said, you know, I cook, right? Or I, you know, do yarn work or needlework, or you know, I said, I don't remember what I said, but anyway, I think it's that freedom of feeling like, okay, I'm an artist, and you know, I'm creating these lessons for my students, and I am able to be creative, and feeling confident and affirmed of myself as an artist. And I heard Mariah just read that part of the book where it's like, it's not just about your lessons loving your students, but your lessons loving you too, you as the teacher.
And so to say it's professional development, it's really spiritual development, it's creative development. Your sessions love us, and I feel like that equips us to go and give that same love back and be with our students in that way. Speaking of love, the love protocol. L, what do you love about XYZ? O, what do you observe about it? V, what do you value? And E, how would you expand or evolve this piece? Has become part of our shared vocabulary at Eastway Arts. And so we said to each other, I was in Camille's room after the collage day, and so this room loves your students today. There was an assembly at the beginning of the year. This assembly loved the students. And then taking it back to the students as well. Let's evaluate today's piece that you created in class. What do you love about it? So offering them that same language. And then our teachers are being observed with that same love protocol. So really weaving it in. So we're examining our own practice through that language.
Things Jessa and Mariah's created is some real vocabulary around what love looks like in school culture, which is no small feat, and to share that language with peers and colleagues and practitioners. I think I would have stayed in the classroom for a long time if that's what professional development looked like. And also, can you speak on a shift from the felt experience of anti-Blackness to one of wholeness and connectedness?
Sure. Joy. And who asks teachers, do you have joy? Who asks that? That's not even like a question on the table. That's like not even like something people think about. That you, as the teacher, stand in front of children, possibly middle school children, could have joy, that it could happen. It's just assumed that you shall never see joy again.